From the shining domicile that is Pittsburgh Comics, my old-mannered comic shop owner, Colin McMahon, transforms into the world's greatest comic book talking TV host. Join us true believers for Comics Now!
Hey everybody, it's time for Comics Now for October 2021. It's fun, the pumpkins are out, there's ghosts everywhere in yards and witches and cauldrons and everything's popping up now. And because of that, of course, we're going to do, our double points is going to be for on horror graphic novels this month. Now Tim is a huge horror fan and he's been changing up the horror display, so if you have any interest in any horror books, ask him. Check out his display. He's got lots of good, neat stuff there. Now, I do also want to give you a little heads up as we're heading into the holiday season, which is coming up really quick, especially when you're in retail. You realize as soon as October's over, it's craziness. If you probably have seen on the news, there's lots of supply chain issues right now. The ports are backed up, the trucks are backed up, everything's backed up, everything's getting really slowed down. So just to let you know, that's going on with us too. And there's a lot of stuff that I can't get back in, or it's taking a lot of time to get back in. So just be aware of that. If there's something you're looking for, I may or may not be able to get it just because the way things are going on. To add to that, Marvel Comics decided to switch their distributor. And starting on October 1st, started using a new one. The problem there is they're not restocking their old distributor, but they haven't started stocking the new distributor yet. So there's a lot of books we literally have no way to get because neither of the distributors we're supposed to use actually has the physical copies yet. So it's fun. It's a really fun time to be in retail and trying to order stuff and get stuff in. So just be aware of that. And sorry, we're doing the best we can and getting what we can in. We do have lots of other things though. But as October is leading into the end of the year, the final quarter, the big push towards Christmas, lots of neat stuff is coming out, and a lot of it is starting in October. So I'm going to spotlight some of the neat stuff that's coming out, and we're going to start with Marvel. We have a brand new Venom #1. They wrapped up Venom, and they also wrapped up Immortal Hulk. That's wrapping up, and they decided to swap some of the writers and the creators. So what we're getting is Al Ewing, who's going from Immortal Hulk, is taking over Venom, and he's doing that with Ram V, and they're co-writing that, along with Brian Hitch doing the art. Not a lot of information about where this new series is going. All it said was an epic new era for the sinister symbiote begins here. But then we also have Immortal Hulk 50 is wrapping up, and that's Al Ewing wrapping up that run. Then next month we're going to have a new Hulk one written by Donny Cates, who was writing Venom. So everybody's changing seats. We also have Amazing Spider-Man 75. Issue 74 was the end of Nick Spencer's, I don't even know how long, 3-year run on Spider-Man. And so 75 is the beginning of a new era. It's got a bunch of new writers. It's going to be 3 times a month, and then they're going to keep throwing in specials. So it's basically going to be a weekly Spider-Man book with a rotating writing staff doing stories that are going to alternate through the different issues and things. So, Amazing Spider-Man is back to thrice monthly because this story is pure jet fuel. Ben Reilly has returned to New York City and has fully taken back the mantle of Spider-Man. But what does that mean for Peter Parker? As I said, Immortal Hulk has their big giant-sized finale of that huge horror Hulk run. We have Death of Doctor Strange is continuing with the Avengers special. With Doctor Strange gone, the Avengers are the only ones who can stop a rampaging juggernaut-like monster from wrecking all of Manhattan. But what does this mystical creature want? And how does this magic, skeptical Iron Man hold the answer? We also have the death of Doctor Strange is going into Strange Academy with a special. Strange Academy is closed until the events surrounding Doctor Strange's death are resolved, so the students go back to their parents. There's some other continuing events. We also have Dark Age continuing and Inferno in the X-Men run, finishing up Jonathan Hickman's run. Some new #1s we have. Black Panther Legends. This is an all-ages book. T'Challa and Hunter are brothers growing up in the idyllic palace of Wakanda. Theirs goes beyond the usual sibling rivalry, though. Hunter, although older, is adopted, and T'Challa is the true heir to the throne. Both brothers wrestle with fairness and future, readying themselves for responsibility when tragedy strikes and takes the choice from them. We also have The Darkhold is continuing, and we have a couple one-shots. We have Blade one-shot. Are you fanged or are you food? The world is divided into humans and vampires, and Blade, the one who walks between them both, and kills with equal impunity. After reading from the Cursed Darkhold, Blade and a cadre of other heroes were meant to enter Chthon's dimension and stop the ancient god from destroying the multiverse. But reading the book has changed their lives and histories. Now vampires rule the world and Blade rules over them all. But there are still some heroes left. We also have Iron Man. Called forth to face the dread god Chthon, Iron Man reads from the Darkhold and it changes the course of his over his entire life. The armor that has saved him countless times is about to become a prison, one whose only escape is a fate worse than death. They have a new monthly special, The Marvel Voices, because it's Latinx or in Hispanic Heritage Month. They're focusing on those characters and creators and doing a one-shot special for them. Luke Cage has a little mini-series called City of Fire. When a black man is murdered by a police officer in New York City, Luke Cage is called to action. Well, what does a good man do when protecting the streets puts him at odds with his own people? A cadre of crooked cops named the Regulators are out to terrorize ordinary citizens, and with Daredevil determined to bring them down no matter the cost, and Mayor Fisk equally determined to use them to tighten his grip on the city, it's up to Cage to keep the city from completely going up in flames. Eternals has a couple one-shots. The Eternals Forever. The Deviants have captured Icarus. Now under their control, Icarus has been brainwashed into assassinating Ajax. It's up to Gilgamesh and Sprite to stop him and prevent all-out war. And then we also have Eternals Celestia. Now that the truth of their existence is revealed, Ajax and Makkari must pick up the pieces and try to find the road forward, no matter how terrifying it will be or how their choices will irrevocably shock the rest of the Eternals. Phoenix, they made Echo. The Daredevil side character has the new host of the Phoenix Force. And so they're finally doing a mini-series to explain her. Against all odds, one of the most powerful entities in the Marvel Universe chose Maya Lopez, a deaf street fighter, as its new avatar. Still learning the new cosmic abilities and struggling with the Phoenix's overwhelming personality, Echo strikes out to return to her roots. Star Wars, we have a couple new things. We have the High Republic Trail of Shadows. Jedi Knight and Private Eye team up to uncover a mystery that will change the High Republic forever. And then also War of the Bounty Hunters is wrapping up. We have issue 5, and then we also have a one-shot with IG-88. IG-88 is an advanced assassin droid designed for death, destruction, and mayhem. Its weapon systems are unparalleled, its design flawless, yet the galaxy's most sinister droid bounty hunter can still fail. What motivates IG-88's resurrection time and again? Is it programming or something more? So, that's most of the new number ones and things from Marvel. Most of the books, all the books are still continuing on their runs. But let's go over now to DC. Starting off, we have a new Batman book, Batman the Imposter. This takes place during Batman's early years, and there's an imposter running around pretending to be Batman. Unfortunately, he has no problem beating up and killing people on camera, so Batman has to stop him, even when the police and everybody thinks it's him committing all these crimes. Fear State is continuing on. It's going to be in Batman 114 and 115, Catwoman 36, Nightwing 85, Detective 1044, and Harley Quinn 8. We also have a new Arkham City book, Arkham City, The Order of the World. The Joker's attack on Arkham Asylum left the lone standing Gotham establishment in ruin. Most of the patients killed or missing, and only a handful of surviving staff. In the chaos, it is believed that several of the asylum's patients escaped and scurried into the dark nooks and crannies of Gotham City. Now these Arkhamites walk among us, and it's up to the Arkham's one remaining doctor to round up her former patients. We also have Batman Secret Files Peacekeeper 01. This is spinning out of Fear State. Picking up after the events of Fear State Alpha, follows Sean Mahoney, aka Peacekeeper 1, in the wake of his exposure to the highly potent fear toxin at the hands of the Scarecrow. Now pushed with terror and facing a lifetime of fear and insecurity, Mahoney has found himself frantically reflecting on his past as a Gotham City police officer and then as a prison guard at Arkham Asylum, all while desperately attempting to keep his mind from fracturing. We have a new book. I'm looking forward to this. This is by Matthew Rosenberg and Eddie Barrow. It's called Task Force Z. In life, they terrorized people of Gotham. Now they are Gotham's last hope. Task Force X saw villains working their way to freedom. Task Force Z will see dead villains working for a new chance at life. On A-Day, the attack on Arkham left hundreds of criminals dead. Now a mysterious benefactor has activated the government's Task Force clause to bring them back as the ultimate army of the night. Bane, Man-Bat, the Arkham Knight, Sundowner, Mr. Bloom, led by a person who knows exactly what it feels like to be brutally murdered and brought back to life, the Red Hood. We also have a Batman Fortnite one-shot. The first one, miniseries, went really well, so this one, instead of taking place on Fortnite Island, is bringing Fortnite to Gotham City. We also have Batman The Long Halloween Special, reuniting Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Join us for the return of Batman Halloween Specials and a mystery that could destroy Batman, Commissioner Gordon, Two-Face, and, well, that would be telling, wouldn't it? We also have a new Catman miniseries by Cliff Chang called Lonely City. 10 years ago, the massacre known as Fool's Night claimed the lives of Batman, the Joker, Nightwing, and Commissioner Gordon, and sent Selina Kyle to prison. A decade later, Gotham has grown up. It's put away its costume heroes and villainy as childish things. The new Gotham is cleaner, safer, and a lot less free under Mayor Harvey Dent and his Bat Cops. It's into this new city that Catwoman returns, a changed woman with her mind on that one last big score, the secrets hidden inside the Batcave. She doesn't need the money, she just needs to know, who is Orpheus? We also have DC versus Vampires. This is by James Tynion and Matthew Rosenberg, drawn by Otto Schmidt. The Justice League has long protected Earth from all manner foreign and alien invaders over the years, always keeping up a vigilant eye to the skies for the next threat. But what happens when the threat was already walking the Earth, hiding in plain sight, watching, waiting for their moment to strike? We also have Tom King has a new book with Greg Smallwood, who had a great run on Moon Knight a while back, of Human Target. Human Target's a real neat character. Christopher Chance has made a living out of being a human target, a man hired to disguise himself as his client to invite would-be assassins to attempt his murder. He's had a remarkable career until his latest case, protecting Lex Luthor when things go sideways. An assassination attempt Chance didn't see coming leaves him vulnerable and left trying to solve his own murder, as he has 12 days to discover just who in the DC universe hates Luthor enough to want him dead. Aquaman and Green Arrow Deep Target. Both of them are celebrating their 80th anniversary, so they're putting them together in an adventure. The shadowy organization known as Scorpio is resurfaced, and it's larger than before. While looting the past for artifacts and treasures, they've somehow altered the timeline, and only Aquaman and Green Arrow can fix it. We have Batman the Audio Adventure Special. Apparently HBO Max is going to have a new Batman podcast, and this is a comic that is a prequel to the podcast. I can't quite figure it out either. So that's what we have coming from DC. Now let's get on to the rest of the guys. We're going to start with Image. Friday, book one. This is the first day of Christmas trade paperback. This is Ed Brubaker and Marcos Martin did an online comic, and now they're collecting it. But Ed Brubaker's stuff always does really well, and that's why I'm pointing this one out. Friday Fitzhugh spent her childhood solving crimes and digging up occult secrets with her best friend Lancelot Jones, the smartest boy in the world. But that was the past. Now she's in college, starting a new life on her own, or so she thought. When Friday comes back home for the holidays, she's immediately pulled back into Lance's orbit and finds that something very strange and dangerous is happening in her little New England town. Spawn has had a real big resurgence. A lot of people loving it, and they're adding yet another title. We're getting Gunslinger Spawn, and this is written by Todd McFarlane, drawn by Brett Booth. This book contains 3 separate Gunslinger series, each taking a look at his journey through time from the Wild Wild West to the 21st century. Will his 200-year-old past come to haunt him as he navigates the strange world of 2021? Hellcop is a new one from Brian Haberlin. When mankind first broke through the walls between dimensions, nothing could have prepared them for what they would find in known reality plane 1301A. It was absolute hell, literally. A covert security force was quickly assembled to patrol the hell space and ensure that none of the nastier Denzians made their way earthside. They were dubbed the Pan-Dimensional Security Corps, the Hellcops. There's also a Halloween 3D special for this series. The Magic Order is back. This is a Mark Millar book. Mark Millar and Stuart Immonen doing this, and we're getting volume 2. A magical turf war like you've never seen before. The London chapter of the Magic Order has entered the scene, and these tough Guy Ritchie style gangsters have a problem with their Eastern European warlocks moving into their territory. We also have Nita Hawes' Nightmare blog. This is spinning out of Philadelphia. Jimmy Sangster might have left Maryland for the vampire-infested city of Philadelphia, but there's still untold evil lurking the streets of Baltimore. The demon Corson has surfaced from the underworld to possess a once-wronged man, and his vengeance will come at the cost of humanity's despair. But Jimmy's former lover, Nita Hawes, a woman with demons of her own, has begun a quest to root the evil out of her city. Guided by the ghost of her dead brother, she must come to terms with her own past, lest she join her brother in a state worse than death. A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance is a new one from Rick Remender. When an unassuming man stumbles upon a dark web contract assassin's vicious plot to kill an innocent target, he turns himself into one. The professional meets the road to perdition in the story of a family's unlikely guardian being hunted by rich and powerful men who are used to getting away with everything. Dark Horse has a new Hellboy series. There also has No One Left to Fight Volume 2 is coming out if you liked Volume 1. Orville is having a new miniseries, just a little, I think it's a little two-parter. IDW, we're getting a new Star Wars series. We had the Zero prequel, but now we're getting Mirror War #1. To conquer the Mirror Universe, Captain Picard must first seize control of the shipbuilding planet of Fondori. The only problem, Fondori is inside Klingon Cardassian Alliance territory. Also getting a new Transformers Wreckers series, Dungeons & Dragons Mindbreaker, and My Little Pony Generations. Dynamite is joining the horror train with a new Purgatory miniseries. Purgatory is really living the vampire demon life. She's got Lilith's nasty mindworm eating her willpower. She's going bug nuts crazy. And now there are a bunch of witches targeting her with their weird body-snatching schemes. Clearly it's time for some quiet introspection and careful planning, right? Wrong. Get ready for bloody mayhem instead. Also bringing back Jennifer Blood. This was a Garth Ennis series a while back, and now Frank Thierry is taking over. So, once upon a time, a suburban housewife spent her nights as a mobster murdering assassin named Jennifer Blood. Then she died. Or did she? Because of the cozy cul-de-sac in Bountiful, Utah, a noticeable number of normal people have gone missing. And by normal, we mean mobsters under witness protection. And by missing, we mean killed by someone that looks, sounds, and murders a lot like Jennifer Blood. We also have a new James Bond series, Himeros. Boom only has one new one, but it's going to be a big one. It's called House of Slaughter #1, and this spins out of Something is Killing the Children. Discover the inner workings of the House of Slaughter in this new horror series exploring the secret history of the order that forged Erica Slaughter into the monster hunter she is today. So I know Boom has big hopes for that one, big orders. Aftershock has some neat stuff. They have an original graphic novel called Party and Pray. Alan is used to being ignored by younger guys, so he hardly believes his luck when lithe, handsome Scott makes a move on him in a crowded club. But there's a wolf on the dance floor tonight, and he's hungry for fresh prey. Chicken Devil #1. Sounds bizarre, looks really goofy, but looks fun. This is by Brian Buccellato. Mitchell Moss is about as regular as it gets. He's married with 2 children and co-owns a successful chain of Memphis hot chicken restaurants. It's not the life that screams hero vigilante, until he discovers that his business partner is in bed with the mob and owes them $2 million. Unfortunately, Mitch is ill-equipped to be a badass. He's just a guy who makes really good chicken. Can he protect his family from cold-blooded gangsters? Absolutely not. But maybe Chicken Devil can. Cross to Bear is another new one. Jack the Ripper was never caught because no one was looking for him in the Wild West. No one except the Order, an organization made up of descendants of crusaders sworn to eradicate the unnatural. The Order will stop at nothing to fulfill the pledge of their forefathers made, even if it means crossing the ocean or a line or two. And After Dark is a Tales from the Crypt meets Twilight Zone. It's 4 tales of horror, lost souls, and things that go bump in the night. Ahoy is coming out with a new Edgar Allan Poe series, which is fun, just an anthology of silly horror book stories. Archie is bringing back the chilling adventures of Sabrina. We're getting issue 9, I think, 4 years after issue 8. Yay! But it's been a real everybody's really enjoyed the book, so I'm happy it's back. AWA has some fun, creepy stuff. We have Out #1. In the waning days of World War II, with the Allies advancing, a desperate Nazi officer unearths an ancient force of evil that he hopes will turn the tide of battle, a vampire. To test the power of his secret weapon, he unleashes the monster on an unsuspecting group of Allied prisoners of war. It's up to Nakona, a Comanche language expert, to communicate with the vampire to find out what it really wants. They also have a sci-fi one, ETER. Intergalactic virus liquefy one of your heads? Feeling a bit off ever since you drove through that black hole? Then visit the ETER, the galaxy's leading medical facility. This interplanetary crew of doctors, nurses, paramedics, and technicians is uniquely qualified to cure what ails you. SourcePoint Press is jumping into the horror thing with the Winchester Mystery House. Thought to be one of the most haunted places in the world, the Winchester Mystery House is much more than an architectural wonder. It's a labyrinth full of secrets. Come step inside and hear the house's whispers. Valiant, bringing back Harbinger. Can you make the world better if you can't be better? A telepath with no memory? A city of superpowered teenagers suppressed? Redemption, destruction, rebirth. A new era of Harbinger begins here. And finally, Vault has a new one from Rom V that I'm excited about. This one's been a little delayed because of everything, but it's finally coming out. It's Radio Apocalypse. Long after the rock out of space struck the world and turned it all to dust, in Bakerstown stands the last radio station on the planet. Radio Apocalypse, broadcasting into the unknown, a beacon in the dark for those who wander the dark places. So that's a lot of the new stuff that's coming. Just spotlighting a lot of stuff, but can't go on forever. Hey, we're doing double points on all horror graphic novels since Halloween is coming up. As always, if you have any questions or anything, you can reach me at pittsburghcomics.com. Facebook is Pittsburgh Comics. Twitter and Instagram are PGH Comics. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for Comic Previews Theater. Thanks.
I wake up in a panic, mind grasping to remember why. Then instantly wish I could forget again. Pretend it isn't real, but it is. Harry's dead. And I'm still alive. Even if I don't look like it. Just ask Citibank, and Chase, and Capital One.
What's good, Mr. Flores?
Randy, in the hall, checking in on me. We'll hang out for a bit, make a few jokes, then we'll talk about Harry. And Randy will wonder if he died quickly, and I'll pretend I don't know, and then I'll feel sick. But Randy needs me. I can do this. Tomorrow, after I have time to myself. This is the best spot for it. The Goddard Building starts a perfect cascade of catty-cornered buildings rising all the way to 42nd. No one else would notice, but for me, it's nirvana. No thinking. All I have to do is swing. No matter how noisy the streets are, there's never any traffic up here. Excuse me? Who the heck was that? Hey, Spider-Verse, what gives? You guys should at least check in, you know. No, bud, you don't get to just run away.